Picture this scenario because it's a ritual we've all done, likely without realizing we were actually victims of a psychological experiment. You walk into that theater lobby, the smell of fake butter hits you hard, and even though you're starving, you're trying to be responsible. You tell yourself explicitly that you're just getting the small, because you definitely don't need the bucket or the calories of $10 corn. You get to the counter, look up at the glowing board and see the small is $6, which feels expensive, but you accept the markup. Then your eyes slide to the right and you see the large, that massive tub looking like a trash can, is sitting there for $8. That seems high. But then right in the middle you spot the medium option, and weirdly enough it's priced at exactly $7.50. Your brain instantly snaps into calculation mode, thinking the medium is $7.50, so the large is only 50 cents more. It would be literally stupid to buy the medium when you get way more bang for your buck by just spending 2 extra quarters. So you buy the large and walk away clutching that bucket, feeling like a savvy consumer who just hacked the system and got a great deal. But listen to me closely right now. You didn't actually get a deal, you got played, and you fell right into their trap. You walked in intending to spend $6, but left spending $8, which means you spent 33% more than you planned. And it happened solely because the theater placed a medium option on the board that they never ever expected you to actually buy. That medium popcorn isn't a product, it's a psychological weapon known as the Decoy Effect, and it is quietly draining your bank account every day. My name is Alex, and I used to work as a pricing strategist for major retail chains, mastering the dark arts of menu engineering. I spent years studying the behavioral economics that corporations use to hack your decision-making processes without you ever knowing. If you constantly find yourself spending a little more than budgeted, or wondering why you always grab the premium subscription, hit that subscribe button. Because today we aren't discussing stocks. We're talking about why your brain is mathematically illiterate when presented with 3 specific options. Marketing teams use a concept called asymmetric dominance to force you to upsell yourself without them ever saying a single word. Here is the thing about the human brain that costs you money. We are absolutely terrible at judging the absolute value of anything. If I showed you a 6-cylinder engine piston right now and asked what it costs, be honest, you would have absolutely no idea. Is it $50 or $500? We don't know intrinsic value. We function like Geiger counters, only measuring things against what's nearby. Executives know that if they present a product alone, you might find it expensive, but alongside a terrible decoy, it becomes a bargain. In that popcorn example, the theater doesn't want you to buy the medium. That option exists solely to kill the small option entirely. Without the medium, you'd save money, but with it, the large dominates so significantly in value that the small becomes irrelevant to you. You might think, okay, Alex, who cares about $2? But this architecture of choice is embedded in almost every financial decision you make. Let's look at the tech industry, specifically Apple, because they are truly the grandmasters of weaponizing the decoy effect against us. Go to their site to buy an iPad and you'll see a ladder, base model at $400, mid-tier at $550, and top tier at $700. The gap between entry-level and mid-tier is designed to make you uncomfortable, making you feel like 64 gigs just isn't enough space. You look at the mid-tier price, which feels steep, until you realize for just a little bit more, you can get into the pro territory. You walk in wanting to spend $400 and leave spending $700, convinced it was logical, but you were actually herded like a sheep. This phenomenon was famously studied by behavioral economist Dan Ariely, and what he found changed how marketing works forever. He noticed something incredibly weird on The Economist's subscription page, where they were offering 3 very specific options. A web-only plan for $59, a print-only version for $125, and a web plus print combo also for $125. Read that again because the print-only and the web plus print were listed at the exact same price, which made no sense. Why would anyone on earth buy the print-only version when you get the web version included for free in the 3rd option? So Ariely ran a study, and unsurprisingly, almost nobody picked the middle option. Most picked the combo because it felt like a steal. But then Ariely removed the middle option, the decoy, showing only the $59 plan and the expensive combo deal. Suddenly, the preference flipped completely. Without the decoy, most students chose the cheaper web-only option to save money. The middle option was useless as a product, but essential as a psychological anchor to make the expensive price feel like a bargain. Now, this gets terrifying for your wallet because this hack applies to the biggest purchases of your life, including real estate. A good real estate agent knows exactly how to weaponize the decoy effect using a strategy we call the ugly brother. Let's say you have a $500K budget. The agent shows you House A. It's nice, fits your criteria, and is listed exactly at your limit. Then they show you House B, the decoy. It costs the same, but the roof leaks, the kitchen is dated, and it sits by a noisy highway. They aren't showing you the dumpy House B to sell it. They show it to reset your baseline and make House A look like a palace. Because you were primed by the terrible decoy, you stop negotiating and happily stretch your budget, thinking you found a massive win. You see this strategy play out aggressively in the automotive industry with those confusing trim levels they always advertise. You see an ad for a car starting at 30 grand, which is just the anchor designed to get you in the door. But you sit in that base model with cloth seats and a plastic screen, and honestly, it just feels way too cheap. Then you look at the limited trim for $40,000, and that massive $10,000 jump hurts your brain immediately. But wait, there is a premium trim for $38,000, missing just one cool feature like the panoramic sunroof. It's priced so close you think, for only $2 grand more, I might as well just get the fully loaded one. The premium is just a decoy to manage your pain, making the leap from 38 to 40 feel completely frictionless. But the real danger isn't just cars, it's what I call upsell leakage, that is quietly inflating your monthly budget. Think about Starbucks and their pricing model. The price gap between a Grande and a Venti is usually just 40 cents. You almost always upsell yourself to the Venti because the math tells you it's a better deal for the volume. But if you didn't actually need 20 ounces of liquid sugar, you didn't save money, you just wasted 40 cents. Multiply that by every subscription tier and supersized combo meal, and you are bleeding thousands of dollars a year. Why do we do this? It comes down to loss aversion and a deep evolutionary fear of missing out on value. When we see the medium popcorn, our brain interprets buying it as a loss, like we are leaving food on the table. We want to be the smart ape maximizing resources, but corporations have hacked that drive just to boost their quarterly profits. Let's talk about the middle-class squeeze, because the decoy effect is actually a major silent driver of your lifestyle creep. When you get a raise and go apartment hunting, you enter the market with a budget, but find it absolutely filled with decoys. You see a one-bedroom for $2,000, a two-bedroom for $2,800, and a view unit for just $2,900. You justify the extra $900 a month because compared to the standard unit, that city view looks like it only costs $100. You stop asking, can I actually afford this rent? And start asking, which is the best deal? Which are two very different questions. The first question protects your wealth, while the second destroys it, and you see this exact same nastiness in software subscriptions. Go to any pricing page with silver, gold, and platinum columns, and you will realize almost immediately that the silver plan is garbage. It's missing features on purpose to make you hate it, pushing you toward that highlighted gold plan they claim is the most popular. They are the sheepdogs and you are the sheep. They built this entire maze just to force you down the only hallway left open. So how do we fight back? Strategy 1 is to recognize the ugly brother. Always scan the menu to find the obvious decoy. Once you spot it, you break the spell by saying, I see what you're doing, because naming the manipulation instantly neutralizes it. Strategy 2 is to define your absolute needs before you ever look at the menu or see a single price tag. Decide in the car that you want the small and put on your blinders. Do not look at the medium because the math is a trap. Finally, use the unit cost fallacy against them. Remember that you cannot bank price per ounce. You can only bank actual dollars. If the large is better value but you throw half away, you lost money because efficiency doesn't matter if the consumption is wasteful. The decoy effect is just a tax on your attention span and your inability to calculate the true value of things in a vacuum. Prove them wrong by being the person who proudly orders the small popcorn and drives the base model car to work. If this video helped you, share it with a friend who always orders the venti, because we need to stop letting menus control our accounts.